Well, that's what's really important about having aligned values as an organization, or like a unified.
About that. So one of the things that we're so grateful for your membership in the Texas Blockchain Council is you've really helped us, or we could say it the other way, we've helped you. We're working together on some legislation in Texas to kind of articulate the DAO structure. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about the bill that you're supporting and helped really put forth at the Texas House? So we've been working with some really, in my opinion, some of the best legal minds on these topics in the entire world. And so we've been very fortunate to have the support from the people that you need and the expertise that you want for something that's this technical and this delicate. And what we've done is in Texas, there's a concept of an unincorporated nonprofit association. To be honest with you, I don't know where that exists or how that exists in other states. So just looking at Texas. So have taken that as basically a shell and then adapted it where it needs to for pretty much two primary reasons. One is defining things like blockchain, distributed ledger technology, smart contracts, the ability to have codified agreements recognized, and that counts as business operating code. So some of it's just very generic definitions like that. And then the rest of it is taking that UNA, or unincorporated nonprofit association, as a shell, adapting it for a decentralized unincorporated association, or a DUA. So not exactly the DAO nomenclature that we're used to talking about in the blockchain world, but something that probably makes more sense from a legal perspective. And it really is just a much more clear framework for DAOs that are looking to organize, and talks about like what you can do with an agreement and what needs to be relied on in other, like pretty much what are the things that you can adjust and what are the things you can't. So I'm excited about it because it'll create a lot more clarity, because other DAOs that we know, some of these other organizations we've talked to, a lot of them have ended up as LLCs or 501c3s, and neither one are honestly a perfect fit for a DAO because of, it always comes down to governance. Yeah, this will be much more clear. Well, when Lee and I were at the Capitol the other day, after you had done your testimony, it sounded like there was a really warm reception to what you've proposed. Is that the case? Yeah, I've been very, very surprised, to be honest with you, in a good way, about how receptive our legislators have been to understanding. I mean, Texas has a great reputation for being very pro-business and very wanting to stay ahead of other things. And I think there's a huge understanding that this isn't the first state that's had these conversations. In fact, it's fourth or fifth at this point. Mm-hmm. And so how can we differentiate it and improve on what we've seen hasn't worked as well in other states? Yeah. And put a Texas twist on it, like keep this independence vibe going and do it a little differently than everybody else does. Yeah.
One thing I want to mention about the entire process of getting the bill, like in the House, and getting the bill voted on, and the entire process with the bill, I think this itself highlights really well how decentralized organizations are able to achieve really big goals. I think the history of how the bill came to be is very organic and is a really good example of the power of a DAO. So at the beginning, a lot of the initial research that was happening with the bill was heavily relying on two members that are not here, Brennan, and one ex-member called Michael, and me. The three of us were doing a lot of research, meeting up, and trying to come up with some initial ideas. We testified in front of a couple of work groups and so on. And then life happens to people, right? Life happened to me, life happened to Brennan. We kind of took backseat, and then organically
you still engage though.
But it's still it's really cool to see how you can actually, even in a really big project, people can take a back seat and somebody else will pick it up kind of organically and put it their own twist and see it through. So it's really cool to see how I like to describe a DAO like a hydra sometimes. You cut a head and then two come up in the place instead. Wow. So you have your arms in everything and happens very organically. And this in and of itself was a really good example of how that happened.
Well, that's what's really important about having aligned values as an organization, or like a unified.
About that, what you're coming together around.
Yeah, which is Austin. And so people are invested in the organization's success. Everyone owns a little bit of the organization. They have an attachment to it, at least as a voter. So
And to the city.
yeah, to the city. And so like everyone wants to see HXDAO succeed. Even people that aren't part of HXDAO want to see it succeed.
Yeah.
So when there's something that people believe in, like a task or a project, like it will get done.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. We had a great time here at Consensus. At the Texas Blockchain Council, we are striving to be the nexus between traditional industries, banking, finance, legal, energy, and the digital asset industry. So we want to help you get your brand in front of those kinds of companies with B2B opportunities. Reach out to us if that's of interest for membership or for sponsorship at the summit. Hope to see you there in November in Fort Worth. Thanks again. We look forward to seeing you at the summit.